All right. All righty. Bringing on my friend. See if we can make this happen. Got an exciting little chat with you guys. Exciting little chat. Here he is. All right. The stud, the man, the legend, the icon, Ben Bruno in the house. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you all. Got a very exciting friend of mine. Yes!
What's up, baby?
Good to see you, man. Why is your hair like perfect? I gotta get mine like looking like that, you know?
No, do you know, can I tell you? So it was like all coming over my ears here, right?
Mine is
And
crazy.
I took an electric shaver and I did this and round there, but then I stopped here
It's like,
because I don't know what. So I back here around here, I couldn't tell you what's going on. It's evolving into a mullet over time.
dude,
Depending on how long this quarantine lasts, I could be Tiger King in 6 months.
I know, man. I'm like just putting as much product as I can to like hold it back a little bit, but I don't know. It's humid out today in LA, so it's like I've been trimming up the sideburns. You can kind of see it trimmed up, and then it's like
You did
long.
a good job. You did a good job on the
It's
side.
not bad. It's not bad. For everyone that's watching right now, I want to do something special. I'm going to reshare a few stories of you guys. So if you guys click the little airplane button below, you tag me, you tag Matthew on your Instagram story. Let your friends know about this. I'm going to pick two people that I'm going to send a copy of Matthew's book to. I'm going to order from Amazon. I'm going to ship it to you. The people that I reshare their stories of this. So again,
That's nice.
take a screenshot of this, post that little triangle thing below where it looks like a airplane, and share it on your story right now. Tag both me and Matthew, because I want to ask Matthew some personal stuff about relationships that I think will help you over the next 30 minutes. And we're going to have a good time. Every time we get together, we have a good time. We just did an interview that came out, a full interview, so you can watch that. The link is below, where we dive in deep on a lot of stuff. And it's good to see you, man.
What's been now? You said there's been some interesting reaction to our interview. What did you mean by that? It was quite a cryptic comment that you left me. I was like,
Well,
what
the responses have been really powerful. I think people love, because when we get together, we really open up. Where sometimes an interview you only go so deep, but since we hang out all the time, it's like I feel like you feel more open to me to share
Yeah,
certain things. So we always
yeah.
have a good time, and just
Well, you always ask me the difficult questions that I never know are coming, and then I've got to somehow fumble my way through an answer.
and then you just go on a roll. You're like, okay, let me just dive in on this.
I have no choice, Lewis. I have to adapt in real time to you.
Dude, what do you think has been the big? You've done a lot of content lately. You've been doing tons of interviews. What do you think has been the biggest pain for women during this time, both in a relationship and single? The biggest pain that they're facing.
I don't know if I have a distinction to make between women and men there.
Mm.
Someone stereotyped to me yesterday. She had said, you know, women, if women are trying to look for someone right now and they are looking for the emotional connection, and men are the more physical animals, you know, and are looking for, like, they want the physical
Beasts,
first.
the
Men,
beasts
men
of the
want
world.
they said if men want the physical first and then the emotional, and women want the emotional first and then the physical, is there a problem right now where women are, you know, looking for someone and they're finding that guys like want that instant physical connection, which is why guys will more quickly revert to sexting, or, you know, like looking for that sexual side of things. And the problem was posed to me with that implication, if that's true, that, you know, do we have a problem right now that women are trying to have a conversation and see where it goes, and men are immediately jumping to the sexual, and if they don't get that, are going, well, what's the point in talking to someone if that's not something that's happening? I'm not sure I fully buy the premise of that, because I think we're all looking for connection. I don't think there's a difference there. You know, I think everyone who's at home on their own right now is feeling a sense, well,
Yeah.
most are feeling a sense of loneliness.
Yeah.
Most are feeling a sense of wanting, like, if I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if you meet someone right now online, like, people are going to make a lot of excuses about this time, but if you met someone online at this time who you thought was attractive, fun, you're having good conversation with them, I just don't buy that anyone is going to go, well, because I can't have sex with them in the next 2 weeks,
Right.
I'm not going to bother with this. What's the point? Like, is anyone really that abundant in perfect partners that they can afford to turn away someone great this week? I don't think so. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm seeing some of the comments. People are sharing it. I appreciate everyone who's sharing it. Again, if you're just joining, click the little airplane button. Share this with your friends. Tag me and Matthew on the image on your Instagram story, and I'm going to send a couple copies of Matthew's book out to a few people that I pick who share this. You know, as a teen and as someone in my 20s, I will admit that I was deeply needing of women's attention, affection, physical touch, affirmation of who I am, deeply insecure around women and needing it to validate myself as a human being, as a man, human being, whatever you want to call it. And scared a lot, scared and vulnerable in relationships of being rejected, turned down, laughed at, made fun of, all those things based on a few instances that made a memory in my mind that I held on to for many, many years. Who do you think, you know, men or women are more susceptible to needing attention, needing affirmation of who they are in a relationship? Is it the same, both men and women, and we're all human beings? Or do you see that women tend to, in general, need more affirmation and validation of who they are, or men need more affirmation and validation of who they are to feel better about themselves?
I don't think I don't think I would draw a distinction in our levels of neediness as genders. It's possible that we might be needy in different ways, that we've been taught that, you know, different genders have been taught that they're important for different reasons. I think that's changing actually, and on some level, but if you're a guy and you know, guys are just as needy, right? You could be needy if you're going to work every day and trying to achieve and achieve and achieve and achieve and achieve and achieve, so that the world thinks you're awesome. And how many guys do we know like that? How many guys do we, you know, even in our community of high achievers, you know, think of that, by the way, that's a label that's been getting high achiever, right? What does that even really mean? Like, high achiever, how? Like, we could call, you know, the Dalai Lama a high achiever if you're talking about like internal growth, or you could talk someone who's achieved, just someone who lives in a cottage somewhere in the middle of nowhere with their wife and kids and has achieved a kind of peace of mind. Maybe they're a high achiever, you know. But we look at these people who are you know, have achieved big businesses and bought big houses and train 3 hours a day and do this and do, they're the high achievers. Why is that? That to me is almost a very masculine construct of, this is what it means to be successful. And there's a form of neediness in that. Like, I need to keep achieving so that people keep seeing me as a high achiever, so that I can come home to my girlfriend and she sees me as successful and accomplished and whatever. That's a form of neediness. We think of neediness in terms of someone saying, where are you? I miss you. Like that, we think of that as neediness. Or, you know, do I look good in this outfit or whatever? We label that neediness, but how is it not needy to keep trying to make more money or keep trying to achieve more so that we stay significant and people keep telling us, look how amazing it is what you've achieved, so that people keep showing us how awe-inspired they are about what we've created in life? There's a neediness to that too. And so I think we have to be very, like, certain forms of neediness present themselves as a stereotypical caricature of neediness, and other types we get to hide as achievement. We need to check that.
If you're enjoying this right now, go ahead and leave a thumbs up or leave a yes or a symbol so we can see that you're enjoying this. I want to spend another 10, 15 minutes with Matthew. I'm seeing a lot of people jumping in the debate. Men are more needy. Women are more needy. Men need more validation of their efforts. Women need more support. I'm seeing like the debate happening, and I'm not here to say who's right or wrong or what gender needs more of this and that.
By
And
the way,
go ahead,
Lewis, I'm you know, I don't want people watching this to think that I'm removing myself from that idea, because I feel deeply connected to what I've just said as we go through this time right now, and I assess what, you know, my cousin Casey, we were talking on the phone the other day, and she was like, you know, she's with her partner spending the weekends together, and she's like, you know, it's really nice just to get time together where we don't feel like we have to say yes to things, and we don't feel like we have to spend time apart just for the sake of spending time apart, and so that we don't, like, we just have an excuse just to sit and be together. And I thought to myself, that's true for me. How many of the things that I do in a week or a month do I do for the right reasons? If I'm so like, I'm really enjoying the time that I'm getting to spend on like cleaning out cupboards and just moving around, just walking around the house and just doing, I'm enjoying the excuse. And so then I go, well, how many of the things that I do are just driven by FOMO, are just driven by feeling
so
like
much.
I should be there? How many of the business endeavors that I do are just driven by this, I don't know, mindless need for growth or for continuing to achieve more? And why am I doing that? Is it because I'm comparing myself to somebody? Am I looking at what Lewis Howes is doing or what this person is doing or whatever and going, you know, look at all this, I should be doing that too? Or what's driving what I'm doing? And is it genuinely my personal happiness or what I want? If someone said to me today, Matt, you're not allowed to do any work for the next month. You're forbidden. It's by law. You're not allowed to work for the next month. You just have to travel and read. That's all I want you to do, is just travel and read a bunch of books. I'd be like, oh, that's amazing. Well, I don't have, like, now I have an excuse. Someone's given me an excuse and a license. So
you know what's funny? You told me this a year ago. You were like, we were at your hot tub hanging out in your backyard, and you were like, you were talking about like, I'm just in the weeds of my business so much. I wish I had space and time. You really wanted to write this new book you were talking about, but you didn't have the time to carve it out. You're like, if I could just have a month, and now we have this time.
How many of the things, if someone gave you an excuse to do something, how happy would you be that you had an excuse? And sometimes I love what I do. It was why I talk so passionately about it, because I love ideas. I love, like, that's what I do, right? But we all know that in order to do what we do, we have to do a lot we don't want to do. You know, I have to worry about marketing and building a site and doing this and coding and blah, blah, all this crap that you don't want to do just to do the thing you want to do. That's the hard part. But still, I realize myself, I'm 32 now. I'm like, what is it I want to do? What if I got 10 years from now, what will I regret not having done in my life? Because I was just on a treadmill of getting bigger, achieving more, doing this, doing that, and whatever. And what the fuck is it all for? Like, why am I doing it? Those are important questions to ask, because otherwise you just you could be the dangerous thing is everyone else can see you as unbelievably successful. Everyone else can see you as someone who has done so much, and from their standard, you keep assessing how happy you should be, because you're like, well, everyone keeps saying I'm doing so well. Everyone keeps saying I'm achieving so much. Then maybe this is the right thing I'm doing. But that's not a mark of a life well lived or how happy you are. Those are questions that have to come from a different place.
Yeah. I'm loving the comments here. People are saying some amazing things. A lot of people are just like, I need this right now. This is so validating. Someone said, I'd pay to be in that hot tub with both of you. Maybe me and Matthew should get a big hot tub and charge people
New program.
do a program in the hot tub. How many of you would come to a hot tub with Lewis and Matthew Hussey talking about love, sex, and relationships. Go ahead and
The
leave a
sex
thumbs up.
part might be a bit on the nose in the hot tub, but I think what we need to do is balance out the scene of the hot tub with something very asexual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, if you're just joining us, make sure to click the little airplane button below. I'm going to send out I'm going to buy a couple of copies on Amazon and ship them to a couple people that share this out. Just tag Matthew Hussey and myself on your Instagram story. Let your friends know that you're watching this right now.
That's very kind of you, and I very much appreciate that. But I'm also insulted that you don't already have 2 copies of my book to hand.
I have someone, but I want to. Here's the thing: I don't want to actually ship it myself and go to the store, so I'm going to buy them direct on Amazon.
I want you to send someone the dog-eared, highlighted, underlined version that you have used to build your entire life on.
That's what I've got here on my notes. When I did my interview with Matthew Hussey, I've got like a book full of notes with all the people I interview right here. So that's great, man. Let's see this. A lot of people are, how do I do that? Someone's saying there's a little button below on your Instagram right now where it's like a little airplane. You can click that button, it'll send it out to your Instagram stories, and you can just tag both of us there.
That's good. I didn't know you could do that.
Someone's saying it doesn't share. If you just take a screenshot on your phone then, and then you can post this to your story, come back, tag both of us. We will. I'll make sure to send a couple copies out. Hot tub all-in challenge. Maybe we do an all-in challenge, Matthew.
What does that mean?
There's a challenge out there right now that like Gary Vee and Tom Brady and like Leonardo DiCaprio and all these big celebrities are putting on these challenges to raise money, where it's like the ultimate like charity challenge. So maybe we did like 5 people in the hot tub. You get a 30-minute conversation with both.
I'm just hoping that people want that. I'm hoping we're actually giving them an offer they want. We might get people on.
Exactly, man.
They might want some of our other friends in the hot tub instead.
Exactly. Man, so what are you seeing mostly from, you get a lot of DMs. Your content, by the way, if you guys aren't following Matthew, make sure you follow Matthew because he's got some of the best content on Instagram, YouTube. But what are the comments that you're seeing that are coming in is the most frequent comments that women are talking about?
I suppose, look, it's a combination. If there's a lot of terrific loneliness right now, real solitude that people are experiencing, and how to deal with that, especially if you're going through any kind of a heartbreak, then this feels like a heartbreak from hell.
Oh my gosh, because you can't go out and heal through other relationships or rebounding or just seeing friends and family. You can't go do those things you normally would do in a breakup, right?
That's right. And so that's people are going through a really hard time with that, and they want to know how to deal with that. Then there's also people who are now finding themselves in a long distance relationship because they can't see the person that they were seeing when this started, or they just met someone during this situation and they're faced with not being able to see them till potentially months, who knows. So that, how do I keep the spark alive with that thing during this time? That's a big question. You know,
how many people do you think are going to be going through a breakup over the next few months if they haven't already? And how many marriages do you think are going to get divorced? Is it going to be, you know, a big percentage, a small percentage? What are your just general thoughts without actually knowing the data?
I mean, my boxing trainer, Martin Snow, he always says, are you in love with their absence or are you in love with their presence? If you're in love with their absence, what that means is the time the relationship works best is when the two of you aren't actually together. Right. You know, I mean, I remember being in my early 20s and I was in a long distance relationship for 1.5 years. And we moved in together.
And you were like, peace out.
After 1.5 years. And I think it lasted 2.5 weeks. You know, we sometimes are in love with the thought of the relationship, what we project onto that person, what the idea of having a relationship, the idea of having someone that cares about us, but then the reality when we're confronted with the reality of that person in the same house, then we realize, wow, this person's not as right for me as I thought. I think that's going to be a blessing for a lot of people, because they're going to learn in 3 months what might have taken them years to figure out about their relationship. I think the important thing to separate is the true incompatibilities that are arising from spending an extraordinary amount of time together versus the kind of artificial or forced incompatibilities that are coming from just an unnatural amount of time together that no one would really recommend in an organic scenario, but is being forced on us by this.
I think someone said that, like, love is created, like, you create love in the space between the time together. It's like when you have the time to reflect and think about each other, about what happened, the good things, whatever it may be, that's when you really, that you dive in deeper into love, is the time apart, is those space in between. I'm not sure if you said that or someone else said that.
Esther Perel articulates it extraordinarily well in Mating in Captivity, that, you know, love is the coming together of two people, and desire exists in the space between two people. And
can you create desire with someone 24/7?
You can, but it requires engineering space. In order to create desire, you need to create space. And if you live under the same roof as someone 24/7, you're going to have to find ways to engineer space. It's not just about, you know, let's do something romantic tonight. Let's do something. That's important, but space is important too. Creating enough room for mystery. And even if you live in a 500 square foot studio apartment where the bed is the apartment, we've all been there at some point, then you have to still engineer space there. Your space could be you putting in your headphones and going into your own world and saying, look, I'm going to work for a couple of hours, and then coming back to that person. You gotta have that. And one of the important things, even reading a book, it's like you're going into a different world to read that book. You know, go escape into your own worlds. And by the way, hopefully those worlds that you escape into will be worlds that feed your mind and that give you new ideas and bring you back even an hour later with a new conversation, a new idea. This is going to be a time where, especially where we're living with someone for 24/7, we're going to have to graduate from talking about events to talking about ideas, because there aren't any events right now. So,
or if you're talking about events, you're talking about the news all day, which is stressful and anxiety, which is not
and by the way, how many events are there right now? Like, it's even in the news, we're talking about the same, a slight graduation on the same thing every single day. And you know, we have to transition, go from events to ideas. Right now, observation is conversation. What are you noticing about about life? What are you noticing about your thoughts? What are you thinking about? You know, go into yourself to really, I think just anytime you notice something interesting, just speak it. Like those, and by the way, that's going to make everyone better. Like, do you know what? Public speaking, you know this, Lewis, public speaking is ideas. It's not about getting on stage every time and telling an amazing story about something that happened. Great storytellers are able to create something out of nothing. You can notice something. Like, I was in the gym like a couple of months back. I wrote this down as an idea for a video, but I never actually used it. But this is just an example of how I think of content. Is I was in the gym, and my trainer was on the other side of the gym as I was leaving, and I waved to my trainer and said bye. The woman between me and my trainer thought I was waving to her, and we didn't know each other at all, but she looked at me and she went, oh, like, bye, and then noticed that I was waving to my trainer, right? And she got embarrassed and awkward, and she like put her hand down and was like, you know, that awkward moment when you thought something was for you, but it wasn't. When I went to my car, I thought about that, and I was like, that woman didn't know me. She saw me wave at her and say bye. And even though a perfect stranger was saying goodbye to her, she took it and she was like, all right, bye. And it literally made me think of how many times, like, that woman's ready to be more sociable, and all she needed was a push. And now I hate to think that that moment where she felt awkward and like, I know in her mind she probably felt stupid. She was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that again." But in my mind, I'm like, "No, don't learn that lesson." Like, that's amazing. That, you know, how many times I just think we should go around pretending we know everybody and saying goodbye as if we know them, because we would make so many more connections. Now, that's just a tiny moment in my day. That moment happened in a second. But when that moment happens, I instantly go, there's something, there's an idea there, there's something there, there's a thought there, that I could have an hour of conversation about that thing alone. And most people will see that in their day and just move on.
Yeah, I love this story. And I want to share a few comments that people have been saying during all this. Shout out to my friend David Walton, who's been on the podcast before. He's saying our hair looks great. I was talking about Matthew's hair before. I don't know how he keeps it so perfect all the time. I need a lot of product. I saw another comment that come through from Mona saying hi, two of her favorite people. Good to see Mona. I saw you do her live with her yesterday.
Nice. Hi, Mona. I didn't know you were watching.
Someone also commented and said, "Who is Matthew Hussey? I'm in your inner circle. I don't know who he is."
How dare you?
So for those that don't know who Matthew Hussey is, he's the top dating relationship expert for women on how to get the man of your dreams. And he's an amazing coach, teacher, trainer, content creator. Go follow him on Instagram. If you go up here, there should be his name up there. You can follow him. And for anyone who's just tuning in, if you share the little button below, that's a little airplane kind of triangle below. You click that, you share it on your story, tag me and Matthew Hussey, or you just take a screenshot on your phone of this and share it. I'm going to pick a couple people to send his book to on Amazon, from Amazon. Sometime today, I'll pick those people who share and tag us. We were talking about creating desire with the space in between when you're being with each other. And when you said that, you know, Esther Perel was talking about that. And when you're around someone 24/7, it's hard to create desire unless you manufacture it and engineer it the way you're talking about, which made me think that 75% of my relationships in the last 15 years, maybe 80%, have started long distance, have started at least being a couple hours away from the person, typically much farther. I remember 10 years ago, I was dating a girl in London from Ohio. I was not even a nonstop flight to get there. I had to go to New York and then London. And it was always the 3 to 4 weeks in between. That was like the anticipation of seeing someone created the desire. And then after I was there for too long, I was like, okay, I need to get out and like go back and do my own thing. I'm in this person's space too much. I need my separation. So it made me think that like I've probably been conditioned to create desire by having this story in my mind of long distance, of like the buildup of traveling and seeing this person and, you know, the chemistry. That's right. But then a lot of them didn't work out and over time. Like they're great for 6 to 12 months. And then it's like, okay, it's kind of worn off when you spend more time with that person. And I just moved in with my girlfriend after a year of going long distance. And I wake up every morning grateful that it's working out, grateful that it's like, wow, this is like something I appreciate. But you have to work at it, like you said, to create that kind of structure and separation so you can come back together. Otherwise, you might get let down. You might be emotionally not connect, whatever it may be. What do you see as the biggest challenge for people when they have that desire and chemistry from afar? Then they get together, it's great for a few weeks, and then they're in this kind of routine that's not as interesting anymore. How do you get out of that normal, boring feeling routine when you're living with someone?
In normal circumstances, you would maintain your own life, make sure that you still have those things that you can go to, as our friend Esther Perel says. You have to keep a secret garden. Everyone needs their secret garden. Everyone needs their place they can go to.
The man cave.
Yeah, whatever that may be. You know, it might be your work. It might be a hobby you really love doing that you go to kind of be in your own world. But those things make you really attractive, and those things give you something to share with the relationship. You get to bring a piece of you that they don't, that they didn't bring to the relationship, and that's that's wonderful. And it also, of course, allows our partner to observe us at a distance. That's one of the sexiest things you can do is, you know, for Jeanette Lewis, you know, when she sees you do your thing, or she sees you on stage or whatever, she doesn't have to interact with you. She just gets to observe you. And that's powerful, because now it's like, or even, it doesn't even have to be anything as grandiose as you being on stage. It could just be you in a room. When she gets to see you interact with your friends, or go and hold court with a group of people, tell a story, make people laugh, she gets to watch you being you, independent of her, and just look at you as, instead of looking at you as my Lewis, look at you as, look at that man, look at that guy over there. That's, he's hot. Look at the way he's talking to people. Look at the way it's a gesture, or when he laughs, or like, there's an observation there that's really attractive. And that's the thing we often lose when we're too close to someone, is we're no longer able to observe them as a separate entity to us. We're only observing life together, standing next to each other, and then we wonder, why am I not as fascinated by this person anymore as I am by life? Well, you're still observing life, but you're no longer observing the person. So that's something that people have to work on. And like I said, you can still do that stuck at home with someone 24/7. You got to give them ways to observe you doing your thing independent of them.
I think also someone was talking about love, long distance actually creates a deeper connection, and in ways I believe that, because you're on the phone for hours typically every day. You can't physically touch someone, so you don't rely on physical touch and sex or that type of feeling to keep you connected. You have to then talk about ideas, talk about experiences, philosophy, whatever it may be, to see if you truly are connected to this person and if you like the person. So
that you know, the big thing, okay, so when you're long distance, right, you have space, so you don't have to engineer space, you have it. But what's the weakness now? You might not be building the right level of connection, or you might be or because right now, like, okay, we're in a heavy time. We're in a time where there's a lot of depression, melancholy, sadness. People are mourning the loss of the year they thought they'd have. They're on top of that now, missing each other. They're missing their person. So that precipitates the same kind of exchange over and over again, where you go to them and you're like, I miss you. This is so hard. This is so frustrating. It makes me so angry. You keep going to that place, and you've got to look. You know what I'm interested in right now, Lewis? I call it the bullshit baggage paradox.
Tell me.
Bullshit baggage paradox is, if you text me and you say, "How are you?" and I go, "I'm good, man. What's going on?"
I love your latest post about this.
Right. That might be bullshit, because there's no nuance there. There's no sense of what I really feel. What am I anxious about right now? What am I experiencing? But baggage can be where we just offload on someone constantly all of the things that we're going through. Now, there's a sweet spot in the middle, which is true, powerful vulnerability, and people say, well, what's the difference between vulnerability and baggage? Because we're all worried that if I get on the phone to my person and I start talking about the things that make me feel vulnerable, then they're just going to see me as weak or pathetic or offloading baggage. I describe it this way. Vulnerability is a song. Vulnerability is, I'm playing you a song from my mind or my heart that tells you something about who I really am, what I really feel right now, what I'm experiencing. I'm playing you a song, and that song makes you feel more connected to me. Baggage is when I play that same song 50 times for you today.
So just sing it one time. Just play the song once. Don't put it on repeat.
If you want to know me better, let me play you a song. But you don't get to the end of that song and say, can we run that back? Let's play it again.
I'm the type of guy that likes to play the same song over and over because I like it, but don't do that in a relationship where you're saying the same thing over and over. If you want to listen to music and play it over and over, that's fine. but don't make that part of the relationship, is what I'm hearing you say.
A relationship has to be an album, and
Ooh,
that has to be
ooh, snap.
that has to be a different, you know.
So there can be a sad song, there can be a love story, there can be a hype up, you know, dance party song.
Exactly.
It can be a bluesy song, but it can't always be I'm dying, this hurts me. All these things.
Exactly, and that, by the way, is one of the keys to a long distance situation right now. If you want to know how to keep the spark alive, you like any piece of music, by the way, if you listen to the same song too many times, it will lose its juice. You'll start to, you know, at a certain point you'll be like, I want to play a different song. You might come back to that song and love it, but you need to listen to a couple of songs in between or take a day break from that in order to love it still. So a relationship is an album, and in a long distance situation, this morning I'll call you and tell you I'm struggling today, I miss you today, I'm really I don't know when we're going to see each other, I feel hopeless today. Later this afternoon, let me play you a different song, let me do something fun or silly or let me send you a goofy picture or something that shows you a different side to me. Let me tell you that I miss your body right now. Let me tell you, like, let me give you something that take things in a different direction, so that
sexual healing, that type of song. You
need to remember I'm mischievous. You need to remember I'm sexual. You need to remember I take charge. You need to remember I can be soft. You need, like, we need all these different songs to be played. And people should ask themselves, and by the way, this isn't just true for a relationship. People should ask themselves, am I doing this with my parent right now? Am I doing this with my kids right now? Am I doing this with my friend right now? Am I playing them the same song over and over again, or am I bringing them anything different? Because every time, if I call my mum and I go, how you doing, mum? You okay? Then I'm taking it to that tone every single time. Sometimes I should call my mum and go, Ma, you'll never guess what just happened. And like, bring us to a different place. That's how you keep things alive. And that's how you build depth in a relationship, and not just depth, but a three-dimensional relationship.
I'm playing a little sexual healing.
Hey, listen.
Come on.
Save it for the hot tub.
You know what I'm saying? I saw someone.
Save it for the hot tub program.
Come on, Matthew. Come on, baby.
He's just Lewis dancing.
Come on, Jameson. Sexual healing. You know what I loved about what you just did? You just did there. Matthew always goes on the best. I want to call it a rant. I don't know what you call it, where you just go off and just blow people's minds, and everyone's quoting you. And relationship is an album. Matthew has the best metaphors. All these different things. Again, if you guys aren't following Matthew, you can click up right here. It should have his name up there. You can click on it. Follow him on Instagram. We did a full long interview below. If you go to the link below, you can check that out. It came out a couple days ago. It's blowing people away. Stuff like this. If you share this with the little airplane, tag me and Matthew. I'm going to send a couple copies out to people today of his book. And also, a lot of people are saying, where are the tickets for the hot tub? I'm in for that. So we'll have to do something.
We need a good name. We need a good name for it.
This is, I had something I wanted to ask you. One final question. I'm trying to think if I can remember it. Desire, space, relationships. So many good comments coming through here.
Oh, while you're thinking of that, Lewis, I will tell everyone. So I actually did a speech at Lewis's Summit of Greatness that was all about building true, deep confidence. And it went down really well, and people loved it. And we actually have that we're giving people the chance to watch it for free. It's at getcoreconfidence.com. If you go to getcoreconfidence.com, if someone could write that in there so that everyone else knows it. But it's me on stage at Lewis's event. You'll literally see Lewis introing me and then me joining the stage. And people love that talk. So go check that out. Something to do to grow while you're in isolation.
Getcoreconfidence.com. If everyone puts that in there, type it in, and you guys can screenshot it and have that. This was the question that came to mind as you were talking about a relationship as an album. Relationship is an album. And something that I love that you talk about, you've said it on probably every interview we do, and probably said it on stage, is that if you want to create if you want to be the most desired person in your relationship, if you're single and you want to be desirable to lots of people, you want to attract a great partner, you always talk about the combo, is having the combination of, yes, I'm smart, but I'm also, I don't know how you say it better than me, but it's having like, not just being good looking and attractive and sexy, but also being curious, not just being like driven, but also being sensitive, not just being a gentleman, but also kind of being like a little bad boy every now and then. Like it's having both and. What is that analogy that you use with that?
Yeah, you got to keep people off guard, baby.
You know?
Gotta, like keep people a little unbalanced. It's
Where am I?
this
Where am I?
idea that we call them unique pairings. Is when you have
Ooh.
two or more combinations, two or more different traits that are all attractive, but you wouldn't normally find them in the same person, right? So it's, you know, all right, let me get, I was thinking about this the other day, Lewis, there's the practical application of this. You know, like we all put forward an image of ourselves. Like on Instagram, people might have an image of us. People might have an image of what you present on a dating app. There's a kind of caricature of ourselves that comes across. I think that one of the most powerful things we can do when someone first messages us or we have an initial conversation with them and they ask, how you doing? What are you up to? What have you been up to? Say something that would surprise people based on the image that they already probably have of you. So this requires some self-awareness for how you come across. Like for me, if people search me online or come to my page or whatever, and they're like, this guy is a coach, this guy is a speaker, this guy gives advice, the last fucking thing I want to do with someone personally in my life is make in any way come across like I'm going to be in a coaching mindset. I'm going to be preachy. I'm going to give advice. I'm going to analyze something that's going on. That's the last thing I want to do. So I want to talk about anything but that. If you're a model on Instagram who's like every picture is you in like if you're a dude and you're in your swim shorts all the time, or if you're a woman, you're in a bikini all the time, talk about fucking book you're reading right now.
Exactly.
Like, talk about something else. Don't like, what are you doing right now that runs counter to the image that someone has of you by watching you come across in one mutated dimension constantly? Because that is a mutate. That's what should we say? That's a image mutation of someone.
What should I do differently that I'm not doing as a personal friend? What would you say for me? Should I post shirtless photos? Should I do? I should say, how are you doing, Lewis? And you should say, you know what I'm fucking ungrateful for, Matt? And then just moan about something. Because all I do is talk about what I'm grateful for. That's good. I love this, man. Guys, if you don't know Matthew Hussey, make sure to follow him. You can go up here, click up here. Also, what's the link again? Getcoreconfidence.com.
It's getcoreconfidence.com.
Go to the link, getcoreconfidence.com. Screenshot this. I'll leave it up for 24 hours so you guys can go back and watch this. Your friends can watch it. If you enjoyed this, leave a thumbs up. And if you want me to do more with Matthew in the future, let us know. I'm seeing a lot of comments come through. Someone's still saying, when's the hot tub happening? It probably won't happen. It'll probably just be me and Matthew always doing that. But maybe I've always been telling Matthew one day I want to do like a live event with Matthew in LA sometime. If we can ever do live events again in the future, we'll see if we can do one. But if you would want to come to a live event where it's just me and Matthew talking for a couple hours on a stage, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and let me know. And maybe in the next few years, we'll make it happen here in LA.
We'll be able to sell 3 seats. And each person will have to take a different corner of the room. We'll have to have them at least 12
I know, right? Apart. Exactly. Again, guys, make sure to follow Matthew up here. You can click on this. Go follow him right now. Send him a DM. Tell him what you enjoyed most about this interview he did with me. We did a longer interview in depth. If you go to the link below, lewishouse.com/iTunes, you can see it up there. It just came out a couple days ago, and you're going to love that. So check that out. Share this with a friend. I'm going to send a couple copies in the next couple hours to people, so I'll DM you and ask for your address for a few people and send copies of Matthew's book for him coming on here and spreading his wisdom with you guys. And go buy his book. Go buy his book. Check out his website, gettheguy.com, right?
howtogettheguy.com.
Howtogettheguy.com. Appreciate you, brother. Miss you, man. Can't wait to hug you soon.
It's always so fun, man. Love to you. Love to Jeanette. I hope you guys are good. And yeah, man, always a pleasure. And thank you to everyone who joined us and spent some time with us.
I'll see you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Cheers, man. Bye.
Man, love that guy. If you guys, again, don't follow Matthew yet, make sure to go follow him, the Matthew Hussey, over on Instagram. He's got some of the best content. Whether you're guy, girl, doesn't matter. He's got some of the best content about how to improve your life. So make sure to follow him, check him out, getcoreconfidence.com if you want to watch the speech that he gave at my event a couple of years ago. Really powerful, one of the best speeches I've ever seen. So go check that out as well. And go right here, lewishowes.com/iTunes. If you go to that link, you have to open up a new browser and check out that link. It'll take you right to the School of Greatness podcast. Click subscribe, and then listen to the episode I did with Matthew a couple of days ago. It's going to blow you away. It's going to inspire you. And we've got a lot of great content over there as well. So appreciate you guys for being here. He's so cool and funny. Yes, he's a good buddy of mine, inspiring. We'll do the hot tub one day, but maybe we'll just do like an Instagram live from the hot tub, and you guys can watch that. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. And who are you bringing on next time? I'm always going to bring on someone interesting. So make sure you're following, turning on your notifications, and you never know what you're going to get here. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you later.